Hello everyone, today we're going to be starting a new unit on polynomials. Quick definition of a polynomial. A polynomial is a mathematical expression of one or more algebraic terms that are a constant multiplied by a variable raised to a non-negative integer power. Okay, so here are some examples of polynomials. So like 3x, if I just had 3x, that is a polynomial because I have a variable. There's really an exponent of a 1 here, so I have an integer power. Okay, here this is a polynomial, so I have a couple of terms. Okay, it's okay that this is a square root as long as the exponent of this x is an integer, a whole number, which is 1. This is also a polynomial because I have y squared and x. This one is also a polynomial. If we just have the number 5, that's a polynomial. So things that would not be polynomials. First one is this 3x y to the 5th power. The problem here is that negative 5. Okay, I cannot have a negative exponent. If I have a negative exponent, then it is not a polynomial. This next one, we have x in the denominator of a fraction. X cannot be in the denominator of a fraction. Okay, so basically what's going to happen there is we're going to have a negative exponent. Same thing here, x cannot be in the denominator, so that also would not be a polynomial. And then here, x cannot be inside of a radical. If x is inside of a radical, then this thing is not a polynomial. Okay, so be able to determine if something is a polynomial, if something is not a polynomial. Something else that we'll be looking at is some characteristics of these things. So degree. Degree is always the largest exponent. Okay, so if I look at this problem right here, 2x plus 7 minus 5x squared, 2 is actually my biggest exponent. So the degree of this thing is actually 2. Standard form means that we're going to write this thing in descending order according to the exponent. So I want the biggest exponent first. So negative 5x squared goes first, plus 2x will go second, plus 7 will go third. And then leading coefficient is always just going to be the biggest or the term in front of the term with the biggest exponent. So in this case, negative 5 is going to be the leading coefficient of this one. Another way you should be able to classify polynomials is based on the number of terms. Okay, so and terms are typically separated by addition and subtraction. So if I just have one term, we're going to call it a monomial. If there are 2 terms, we're going to call it binomial. 3 terms is a trinomial. Anything above 3, we're going to call it a polynomial. Okay. Something with 3 terms is also called a polynomial, but trinomial is the most specific name. Same case with binomial. This is also a polynomial. A monomial is also a polynomial, but monomial is the most specific name. So let's practice a little bit. So it says determine if the expression is a polynomial or not. If it is a polynomial, state the type and degree of the polynomial. Okay, so first of all, this is a polynomial, and what I'm looking for is all of my exponents are positive. So this one's a 4, this one's really a 1. There are no variables in a denominator, and there are no variables inside of a radical. So since it passes those 3 things, this is a polynomial. So we're going to say, yes, this is a polynomial. Okay. Next part is asking us to state the type. Okay. Since there are 2 terms, this is a binomial. Okay, and then the last part, the degree, our biggest exponent here is a 4. So the degree is 4. So type is a binomial and the degree is 4. Okay, here's another example. This is a polynomial. Okay, again, all of my exponents are positive numbers and there's no fractions or radicals here. So this is definitely a polynomial. So yes, this is a polynomial. Okay, so next thing, the type of polynomial, since again, we have this term and this term, there are two terms here that are being subtracted. This is also a binomial. And then for our degree, notice that this term has x squared and y to the 4th. We're actually going to put those together, okay? And our degree is actually going to be 6 on this one. Okay, so 2 and 4 are not the biggest exponent, but when I put these two together, there's actually 6 things here, which is more than 5. So that's why 6 is the degree. All right, the next one, determine if this is a polynomial. So when I look at this one, I notice that I have a negative exponent. Since there is a negative exponent, this is not a polynomial. Okay, so since it's not a polynomial, we don't have a type and we don't have a degree. We're just going to say this is not a polynomial because we have a negative exponent. This one right here, this is also not a polynomial because there is an x inside of the radical. So not a polynomial again. Okay, so that's one thing you should be able to do, determine if something is a polynomial or not, and then name it based on the number of terms and the degree. Another thing we should be able to do is put things in standard form, which means our biggest exponents are first, our smallest ones are last, okay? So this thing, we're gonna rewrite it, negative x squared is gonna go first, positive 3x is gonna go next, and negative 9 is gonna go last. That would be the standard form of this equation, okay? Here's another one. This time x cubed is my biggest exponent. It's okay that there's a 5 under it. I can have a number in the bottom. I can't have an x in the bottom. Minus x is going to go next. Minus 10 is going to go last. That would be the standard form of this equation. Okay, and then the last part, rewrite the polynomial in this form here. So I want x squared to go first, I want bx to go second, and c to go last, and identify the values of a, b, and c. And what we're being asked for, what are the coefficients, okay? So let's rewrite this. So x squared needs to go first. So in this problem, I have 10x squared, and really it's ax squared. So 10x squared. The next thing, x should go second. This thing does not have an x, so we really have 0 x's. And then last is the constant, the thing that doesn't have a variable. -1 is going to go last, okay? So my a is actually 10, the coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x is actually 0, and the coefficient c is -1. That's what we're asking for there. One last example, this one's asking me to write it as ax plus by plus c, okay? So -6x is gonna go first this time. 8y will go next, and +1 will go last. Okay, so a, b, and c this time. A is -6. B is 8, and C is 1, and that's it. So today we're just gonna kind of have an introduction of polynomials. We'll start adding, subtracting, multiplying, factoring, and doing all that stuff later on. Okay, so please go check out the assignment on Canvas and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.